Have you ever set your alarm for 5 a.m. with big ambitions, only to hit snooze again and again, until suddenly it's 8 a.m. and the day already feels lost? You promise yourself, tomorrow I'll wake up early. But tomorrow comes and the same thing happens. Maybe you've heard that successful people wake up early. Maybe you've tried it once, twice, maybe even 10 times. But every time, your warm bed wins the battle. So you tell yourself something comforting. I'm just not a morning person. But what if that belief is the very thing holding your life back? What if the most important hour of your entire day happens when the world is still asleep? And what if I told you that one simple habit, one decision made before sunrise, could completely change the direction of your life? Today, I want to tell you a story. The story of a man who had no degree, no connections, and almost no money. Yet within 1 year, his entire life transformed. Not because of luck, not because someone rescued him, but because he made one powerful decision at 5 a.m. Stay with me until the end, because this story might be the wake-up call your future has been waiting for. In a quiet manufacturing town surrounded by old brick factories, there lived a 34-year-old man named Daniel Carter. Daniel worked as a night janitor in a logistics warehouse. Every evening at 7:30 p.m., he clocked in. For the next 10 hours, he cleaned floors, emptied trash bins, and wiped dust from machines that cost more than he would earn in a decade. By the time his shift ended at 5:30 a.m., his back ached and his eyes burned from exhaustion. He would walk home through silent streets while the rest of the city was just beginning to wake up. The smell of fresh coffee drifted from kitchen windows. School buses rolled past. Office workers stepped into their cars wearing pressed shirts and polished shoes. Daniel would watch them quietly and think, how did their lives move forward while mine stayed stuck? His apartment was small and worn down. A folding table, a second-hand chair, a mattress directly on the floor. When the wind blew through the cracked window frame, the room felt colder than the street outside. But the worst part wasn't the poverty. It was the feeling of being trapped in a life that never improved. Daniel had tried to change. He applied for office jobs, retail jobs, delivery jobs. But without college education, employers rarely called him back. After long nights of work, he told himself he would learn something new. Maybe accounting, maybe computers. But when he reached home in the morning, exhaustion crushed every plan. Sleep always won. His father, who lived in another state, called him every Sunday. "Danny," he would say gently, "I know you're working hard, but when will things start getting better for you?" Daniel always replied the same way. "Soon, Dad. I'm figuring things out." But deep down, he knew the truth. He wasn't figuring anything out. He was simply surviving. And survival never builds a future. One morning, everything changed. It was a rainy Wednesday when Daniel received a phone call from his younger sister. Her voice trembled. "Daniel, Dad collapsed this morning. The doctor says it's stress and exhaustion. You should come." Daniel caught the first bus across town to the hospital. When he walked into the room, his father looked smaller than he remembered. Years of hard physical work had carved deep lines into his face. His father squeezed Daniel's hand weakly. "Son, promise me something." Daniel leaned closer. "Don't spend your whole life just getting by like I did." His father's voice was barely a whisper. "Find a way to build something better." Daniel nodded, but inside he felt helpless. After his father fell asleep, Daniel stepped outside the hospital. The sky was still dark. He checked his phone. 5:02 a.m. The city was quiet. Street lights glowed over empty roads. For a moment, the world felt paused. And standing there alone in the cold air, Daniel felt something rising inside him. Not sadness, not fear, determination. "There has to be another way," he murmured. On the bus ride home, Daniel noticed a man sitting across the aisle. He looked to be in his late 50s, well-dressed, calm, focused. The man was reading a thick book and taking notes in a small leather notebook. Daniel recognized him. Robert Whitman, a successful entrepreneur who owned several retail stores around the city. Daniel had seen his face in local business magazines. What confused him was the time. It was 6 a.m., and this successful man was riding a public bus. Daniel finally spoke. "Excuse me, Mr. Whitman?" The man looked up kindly. "Yes?" Daniel hesitated. "I don't mean to bother you, but why are you traveling so early?" Robert smiled. "Because the early hours are the most valuable hours of the day." Daniel frowned slightly. Robert continued. "I wake up every morning at 4:45 a.m. I read, plan, and work on ideas before the world becomes noisy." Daniel blinked. "But don't you get tired?" "I sleep at 9:30 p.m. Robert studied Daniel's tired expression. "You work nights, don't you?" Daniel nodded. "Janitor." Robert leaned forward slightly. "Tell me something. When do you sleep?" "Usually from 6:30 in the morning until mid-afternoon." Robert shook his head slowly. "Then your life is running backward." Daniel felt the words hit him hard. Robert continued quietly. "The hours between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. are powerful. Those hours built my entire career." Daniel listened carefully. "For 2 hours every morning," Robert said, "you can build skills, learn, plan, improve your body and your mind, while everyone else is still dreaming." Then he wrote something on a card and handed it to Daniel. "My number. If you're serious about changing your life, call me tomorrow." Daniel stared at the card. "Why would you help me?" Robert smiled. "Because 20 years ago, someone helped me." The next morning, Daniel did something he had never done before. Instead of collapsing into bed immediately after work, he stayed awake. At 10:30 a.m., he called Robert Whitman. They met later that day at a small cafe. Robert drew a simple chart on a napkin. 2 hours per day, he said. That's 14 hours per week. Over 700 hours per year. That's almost 3 extra months of productivity most people never use. Daniel's eyes widened. Robert explained the system. Hour 1, skill building. Learn something valuable, a digital skill, accounting, coding, marketing, something that improves your income potential. Hour 2, personal growth. Exercise, read, plan, strengthen the body and mind. Then Robert added 3 rules. Rule 1, wake up at 5 a.m. every single day. Rule 2, sleep early, protect your energy. Rule 3, commit for 90 days without missing once. Robert leaned back. If you do this for 3 months, your life will begin to change. The first morning was brutal. Daniel's alarm rang at 5 a.m. His body screamed for sleep, but he forced himself out of bed. He sat at his small table with his laptop
and began watching free bookkeeping and Excel tutorials. At 6 a.m., he walked outside for exercise. The first week felt impossible, but he kept going, day after day, week after week. Around day 18, something strange happened. Daniel woke up before the alarm. His body had adapted, his mind felt clearer, his confidence began growing. Within 2 months, he had completed several online certifications. Then, one day at work, Daniel created a simple digital system to track cleaning schedules and supply inventory. His supervisor was impressed. "Where did you learn this?" Daniel smiled. "Every morning at 5 a.m. 3 months later, the warehouse manager called Daniel into his office. "We're looking for someone to help manage our inventory systems. You understand the building, and you've clearly learned some technical skills. If you want the job, it's yours." Day shift, triple his previous salary. Daniel stood there in disbelief. 3 months earlier, he had been invisible. Now he was being promoted. That evening, he called Robert. "I did it," Daniel said. Robert laughed softly. "I knew you would." 1 year later, Daniel was managing the entire operations department. His father had recovered and moved closer to him. Daniel now lived in a comfortable apartment. But one thing never changed. Every morning, at 5 a.m., his alarm still rang. Because he understood something most people never realize. Success is not an event. It's a daily routine.
So now let me ask you something. Tomorrow morning, when your alarm rings, will you hit snooze? Or will you stand up and begin building the life you say you want? Here's your challenge. Tonight, set your alarm for 5 a.m. Choose one skill you will build for the next 90 days and protect those 2 hours like your future depends on them. Because it does. If you're serious about changing your life, do 3 things right now. Hit the like button as your commitment. Comment below and tell me, what skill will you build at 5 a.m.? And subscribe for more powerful, life-changing stories every week. Remember this, your future is not decided by luck. It is decided by what you do while the rest of the world is sleeping. Tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Will you be awake? Your future self is waiting. Don't keep them waiting any longer.